Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of the Photoshop Quicktips podcast. My name is Justin Seeley and I'll be your host. In this week's episode we're going to be taking a look at something that a couple of years ago when I first saw it in Photoshop I was like, what in the world am I ever going to do with that? And that's video. Video editing was introduced in Photoshop CS3, so if you have CS3 or CS4, this is a great tool that you have at your disposal. Now, a lot of people are wondering, what the heck can I do with this? Well, I'm going to show you how to create a really cool retro effect here on your video inside of Photoshop. You can do this on any video clip. Just go to File, Open, and choose the video. Boom, it pops open. You want to be working with the animation panel. You can find that underneath Window and going to Animation. That'll go ahead and bring this up for you, what you see at the bottom of my screen. And that allows you to scrub through. So let me go ahead and do that so you can see this is a movie. Not the best movie I've ever shot, but it is a movie nonetheless. So I'll go ahead and back it up. And so we're just going to add a couple of little adjustments to this video to make it look a little bit better. The first thing I'm going to do is add an adjustment layer to this. I'm going to go down to the adjustment layer icon and I'm going to choose black and white. Now in CS3 you will actually get a pop-up box that allows you to adjust the black and white adjustment. In CS4 we have the adjustments panel, which is located right up here. The first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and click on the tint button, which is located right there. When I click tint, I'm also going to go ahead and click on the color box right next to it. That allows me to change the tint color. Let me zoom back out here. Now I want to create kind of a sepia tone, so I'm going to go down in here. It starts off kind of in the orange colors. I'm going to go kind of in the dark browns, something kind of like that, maybe a little bit richer, like that. Hit OK. That automatically creates a new adjustment layer. Now, not only does that adjustment layer affect this first frame that you're looking at, if I scrub through, you can see it affects the entire video. The entire video is now that retro-looking sepia tone. All right, step number 2. I'm going to create a blank layer on top of this layer. So I'm just going to go ahead and click the new layer icon to create a new layer. And I'm going to fill this layer with neutral gray. I'm going to do that with Shift Delete on the keyboard, Shift Backspace on a PC. I'm going to choose 50% gray and hit OK. That automatically fills it with 50% gray. Then I'm going to go to Filter. I'm going to go down to Texture. And I'm going to select Grain. Now when the Grain dialog box launches, you're going to have several options to choose from, and this is where you get to make it your own thing. Let me go ahead and shrink this up so you can see it a little better. There we go. Now the grain that I choose to use for this effect most of the time is sprinkles. That may be something you're into, maybe not. Another good one would be vertical. Vertical is another good one to use, but for the sake of the tutorial, I'm just going to go ahead and say sprinkles. And I'll hit OK. That fills that with almost like a TV looking noise, right? So I'm going to change the blend mode of this. We're going to change that to multiply. When I do, you can see I kind of added a dark grainy effect. But I don't want it to be everywhere because grain's kind of spotty when it's on video. So what I'm going to do is add a layer mask to this layer. And I'm going to fill the layer mask, so I make sure that's selected. I'm going to fill that with a filter. I'm going to go to Filter, Render, and instead of clouds, I'm going to choose Difference Clouds. You can see there it kind of spots out the grain, makes it not so even everywhere. That way it gives it just a little bit more of a variation. If I scrub through, you can see it affects the entire image. Now, the only thing I don't like about this is the grain remains the same. Same position, same style, and everything like that. So that's kind of a pain, but it's just a special effect that we're going for, so it's not that big of a deal. All right, last thing I'm going to do, I'm going to add a vignette to this document. So I'm going to go ahead and create another new layer. I'm going to go ahead and fill that with 50% gray. Shift Delete again. Click OK. Then go to Filter, Distort, Lens Correction. In the Lens Correction dialog box, I'm just going to take this vignette slider, which is over here on the left, or on the right hand side, excuse me, and drag that all the way to the left. That's what I meant to say. Once we darken that up, I'll hit OK. There's my vignette. And I'm going to change this blend mode to overlay. And when I change it to overlay, you can see it's got a darkening effect around the edges. Pretty cool. If I scrub through the video now, you can see that the actual lighting in the background of the video helps the vignette kind of change as well. So that gives it a little bit more depth, a little bit more of a cool dramatic effect. So go ahead and scrub back. And there you have it. If you were to play through the video, it would look just like that. The whole thing. If you want to render it out, you go to File, go down to Export, and choose Render Video, and then you would select your desired settings and output it however you want. And there you have it. Just a few simple, easy steps to transform your video here inside of Photoshop using some adjustment layers and some pretty crafty little filters. So that's it for this episode of Photoshop Quick Tips. If you have any questions or comments, you can send those to me via Twitter at twitter.com/JustinSeeley or Facebook at facebook.com/SeeleyFB, or you can send me an email at justin@seeley.tv. Thanks everybody for watching this episode. See you next time.